Hello everyone, I'm Joel Baird, the General Manager of Missoula Community Access Television, inviting you to our holiday edition of Missoula Live.
This is such a fun tradition.
Right?
I'm Kim Anderson. I'm on the board of MCAT, and I'm also the Director of Programs and Grants for Humanities Montana.
Well, and at the beginning of our show, we have a really interesting show for you today of people reading from holiday poems. They're from the organization, the Missoula Writing Collaborative. I have just a little to tell you about MCAT to-doings, and the big news headline is we need kids for our winter camp. So this is the first time we've done it.
It's unheard of.
Right? I mean, I know MCT, for instance, has activities. The ZAC has activities in that long period between the holidays, right?
Yes.
Where sometimes the holiday cheer runs thin in the household.
The parental end especially,
right.
yes.
We are offering a respite from this from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. It starts on Wednesday, December 27th, goes the 28th, it goes the 29th, Friday. And then on Friday, the kids will show the parents, caregivers, and other loved ones. We'll have a little party in here, where, like they do for summer camp.
Right.
And they'll show the work they've done in the 3 days. So what will they do? Well, they'll do animation. They'll do drawing stuff, stop animation drawing, Lego stop animation. They'll play with our virtual reality machines in case they get really tired. And then there's Scott's hoverboard.
Oh, right. Because let's face it, by Wednesday, everyone will have broken their toys.
Right.
They will be sick of their videos and their DVDs.
Yeah,
or
they'll
whatever
Netflix and out of their minds.
Get them out of the house.
Yeah, and so they can come here beginning at 8 a.m. In
On
case
Wednesday.
yeah, each day, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Right. And then the activities proper will start about 9 a.m. and then go till 3, but we've got like a window in there, half hour or so to pick up the kids. So if people are interested, Scott showed you the website. It's mcat.org, and it's the leading page. You can sign up. It's $99 for the 3 days. You can use a debit or credit card on the site. And then 2, if people are strapped, they can call us and talk to us about the price. So that's 542-622-8 for partial scholarship. And other than saying happy holidays, which I'll say at the end of the cable cast, that's all I got.
Okay, and I have one quick thing, because I just want to get it on people's radar. On January 18th, Humanities Montana is going to be holding a really great community conversation at Imagination Brewery. It's going to be live streamed by MCAT.
That's exciting.
And it's on fake news. It's on the phenomena of fake news, the evolution of the term fake news. What does it mean? Is it real? Is it new? And it's going to feature people like Kathy Best, the editor of the Missoulian. William Marcus is going to moderate.
Wow.
Dennis Sweibold, a professor of journalism at UM. And there'll be, the experts talking about it, but then very much interactive. So put that on your calendar, 6 p.m., January 18th, Imagination Brewery.
That's brilliant. Yeah, I think that's really
It's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun. Yeah.
So now it is time to introduce the panel.
Yay.
I will do the honors because I know everyone's first name.
And that's a start.
Yes. Here's Carolyn, Rebecca, and Patsy. Welcome and thank you for representing Missoula Writing Collaborative. Leland is here. He's off camera, but he's going to move in as soon as there's room on the couch.
That's right. We're going to make some room for him.
That's right. But let's grill him about the Missoula Writing Collaborative, so people at home, could better know the organization.
Right. Carolyn, do you want to start off by giving us just the bare bones of what it is, what MWC is?
So the Missoula Writing Collaborative is a nonprofit, and we have been in the Missoula area for 24 years. And what we do is we bring creative writing to schools, to children in schools, and in 12-week writing residencies. So we bring professional writers into the schools to teach children creative writing, particularly poetry. So we are in 28 schools in western Montana, 9 schools in or 10 schools in Missoula, and we're on the reservation, and we're up kind of in the Sealy Swan and the Lolo Florence area. It's a really wonderful program. Kids love to learn writing, and they love expressing the world around them and the world inside them.
Oh, that's great. I think it's such a wonderful program. And it's an enhancement, right, for the school. So they may not have the time to focus on creative writing. They'll be like, well, they have to learn the basics. Or, you know, there's always
Right.
winds of change within the school district, too, about what their objectives are. So you say, hey, we're bringing this to you.
Right.
And it's a nonprofit. People can contribute
Right.
towards the effort.
Right.
And the effort has seemed like it produces wonderful results.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because it reaches all kinds of kids. Reaches kids that often aren't reached in traditional academics,
Right.
and it often helps them makes traditional academic subjects make sense to them, because they're so driven by the passion of their own stories that, suddenly things like grammar or even handwriting makes sense to them because they want to tell that story. They're so passionate to tell their story about a bike jump or about, ballet, a dance they've done or something, that suddenly all those things that they've had to learn in kind of a more abstract way begin to make sense in a very quotidian way. And kids really love that. And then there are kids who are just so creative that, they would love doing this anyway. But you really see kids, sometimes there are kids who can even barely write at the beginning of this program that by the end are, writing poems like mad and, walking up to a microphone in a room full of strangers and reading their poem. And the transformations are incredible.
Yeah.
And really, really very moving.
And one of the things that I think always has such an impact with the kids is that these aren't teachers who are coming into the classroom. They're professional writers who have spent a long, long time on their craft and have a very different attitude and can also serve as kind of examples for kids of how you can be in the world, as how you can tell your story, how you can connect with people through words.
Yeah, and I think that's really important because I think writers face the fear of the blank page every day. And so, you devise all these different strategies for, playing with language, playing with your imagination, outmaneuvering the fear of the blank page. And it really helps kids to know that, these big grown-ups that come in from outside.
They're still scared.
We're still struggling with that. But you just figure out all these different ways to kind of tease the work out of them. And suddenly, teachers are always amazed by that. And also, it is a very collaborative process. So teachers, we try to work with whatever the subject material is that teachers are working with. And if they're working with Montana history, we try to bring in, poems that accent that kind of thing, or English. We try to emphasize the different techniques of language. So it is much more of a collaborative process.
Nice. And there's a website, is there not? That
Yes.
people watching, they're interested, they could go to the website. There it is on the screen. And from the website, too, if there's any teachers watching and they don't know about it.
And a great thing on our website is our video, because it shows that one of the hardest things is to show people what our teachers do in the classroom.
Yeah.
And the video shows the teachers teaching. And I think that's probably shows the teachers in the classroom, and that's the best thing that people could see. That's where we're at our best.
And you brought some board members with you today, and you're all going to share some of the kids' works, right?
Yep.
Nice. Should we ask Rebecca and Patsy to say something about being board members?
Yeah.
Like, what motivated you guys to get involved with the Writing Collaborative?
I'll go first. My name is Rebecca. I became a board member a little over a year ago and became the treasurer. And I have a very, very huge soft spot for nonprofits. And when I moved to Missoula a couple years ago, I wanted to get on a board, and the Writing Collaborative was looking for a board member, and I decided to join, and one of the things, I mean, I'm not personally a writer, I'm an accountant, so numbers and words. we don't
Writers
really
need
care.
accountants.
So, but, you know, something has always been very powerful about words, whether it be poetry, essay, or even a diary. Like, it's a place, they're so powerful. And one of the things I love about being a board member is when I hear stories about a kid who is inward, comes into class very shy, doesn't open up, and we put in our teachers, and they teach them how to write a poem, and they just lighten up and become this person that the teacher never even knew that was there. And I think it's great what they do. So.
And my name is Patsy, and I've been on the board, I think I've been on the board 6 years. I'm not sure. But I was asked by a friend, she was going off the board, and they were looking for a replacement, and we knew each other, and she asked me to join. And I have granddaughters who have been part of the program, either in their classroom at school or at the summer camps. And so, and I'm a former teacher, so it felt like a perfect, I had children and a teacher, it felt like a perfect fit. And I actually couldn't have chosen an organization that I'm more loyal to, I don't think. It's the children, and these two have already spoken to them. Plus the teachers that we hire, the poets, are phenomenal with these kids.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy to be a board member of the Missoula Writing Collaborative.
Excellent. Well, so you're going to read some things that kids have written too, as well?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so towards that end, we're going to bring Leland in and Kim out, because you just want a break. You don't want to be here.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick
She don't
with
want to
it.
be. She wants to go.
Yeah.
So Scott's going to show you something at home, so this is not so awkward, this stumbling around the set, and we'll be right back with Leland and some writing from the Missoula Writing Collaborative right after this.
Watson Children's Shelter, for 40 years providing a safe haven for abused and neglected Montana children.
From our house to yours, we're wishing you peace and joy this holiday season. Hi guys, I'm Corinne. I'm Annabelle. We're from Rocky Mountain Ballet Theater. Help us welcome 250 dancers from around the world to Ballet Beyond Borders, January 9th, 2018. Happy holidays! Leanna Waller, Captain John Mullen.
Tony LaPlante, University Neighborhood.
Laurel Farrell, Heart of Missoula.
Ray Ayton, Farview's Petty Canyon.
Karen Gaswoda, Office of Neighborhoods. Jane Kelly, Office of Neighborhoods.
From our neighborhoods to yours, happy holidays.
Oh, we're back. Right here, you can see yourself, right?
I can see myself.
Yeah. So we're back with Leland. He's also a board member of Missoula Writing Collaborative. Welcome to the couch.
Thank you.
Thanks for waiting for your time to shift out. So who wants to read first? Anyone? You want to? You want to get rid of that French problem right away?
Yes, exactly.
So Patsy's going to read now. Is it a student work that you're reading?
It is.
Okay.
I want to show this to the camera. Is that the...
Yeah, turn it around, and then
No,
maybe Scott can zoom in.
I just want to say that with the 12-week program that we take into the classroom, at the end, we produce a, the word just went out of my head.
Booklet. Anthology.
Anthology, thank you.
Patsy,
And-
hold it in one place still.
Okay, oh, sorry.
And then he'll get a bead on it, you see.
Oh, I see. That's how that works.
Yeah, I think you
right.
get the idea.
So this was created in 2017, the fall here. Well, I don't really know if it was last spring in the classroom or this fall in the classroom. But every child that was in that school has a poem or two in here, and I'm going to read you one. This is from a student in Ms. Van Hoppen's 4th grade English class, the A.M. section. And this is by Soleil, and it's entitled Scheme. Having fun in the snow, staying low, keeps me going fast. Can't be there last, or I won't get the best pow pow. Don't you know? Staying on my edges, 'cause that's what I do. Parallel turns all the way through. Nothing new, just doing what I'm supposed to.
That's good.
And that was created out of his experience with one of our teachers. Maybe shall we go around again?
Sure, whatever you want to do.
Oh, I can do the next one. Now, I was introduced to this author when I was in high school, and I was always impressed because he didn't use punctuation like I was taught in high school to use, and so I loved to read his poems because I felt he was being a little against the rules. It's entitled Little Tree by E. Cummings. Little tree, little silent Christmas tree, you are so little, you are more like a flower. Who found you in the green forest? And were you very soft to come away? Sorry. Were you very sorry to come away? See, I will comfort you because you smell so sweetly. I will kiss your cool bark and hug you safe and tight, just as your mother would. Only don't be afraid. Look, the spangles that sleep all year in a dark box, dreaming of being taken out and allowed to shine. The balls, the chains, red and gold, the fluffy thread. Put up your little arms, and I'll give them all to you to hold. Every finger shall have its ring, and there won't be a single place dark or unhappy. Then, when you're quite dressed, we'll stand in the window for everyone to see, and how they'll stare. Oh, but you'll be very proud. And my little sister and I will take hands, and looking up at our beautiful tree, we'll dance and sing. E. Cummings must have had a Missoula Writing Collaborative in his life.
That's great. I'd really liked your reading of that poem, too. Though Kim is mad, because that's one of her poems. She was going to read it. Too late. We'll have to get a new one.
All right, I will go next. So I am reading a poem from one of our students from Lolo School. It's a 4th grade poetry book. This is by Violet Hicks. It's called Silent, Loud, Everlasting. Silent things are stars twinkling on and off at dusk. A pillow waiting on your bed, eager to be used. A snowflake slowly falling down, 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 then gracefully landing on the dry cement. Loud things are a highway speeding and flashing, driving and man-made popcorn crackling. In the buttered-up pot, the clapping of the crowd after the national anthem. Things that last forever are a candle slowly withering away, wind freezing you until you go inside, burning into your cheeks and toes. The sour lemon piercing into your mouth, making you instantly pucker up and gasp. This poem is Christmas Mail by Ted Kruser. Cards in each mailbox. Angel, manger, star, and lamb. As the rural carrier, driving the snowy roads, hears from her bundles the plaintive bleating of sheep, the shuffle of sandals, the clopping of camels. At top after stop, she opens the little tin door and places deep in the shadows the shepherds and wise men, the donkeys lank and weary, the cow who chews and muses. And from her styrofoam cup, white as a star and perched on the dashboard, leading her ever into the distance, there is a hint of hazelnut, and then a touch of mirth. That's it.
That was good.
So I have a Christmas poem that's from Ronan. So Ronan is one of the schools that we're in.
Oh, great.
On the Flathead Reservation of the Salish and Kootenai. And the poem is called Christmas. I love Christmas, so many presents, so much hot chocolate. It is fun opening presents, so many shapes and sizes. It is fun opening presents. I mean the wrapped ones. So many shapes and sizes. I mean, present-wise. I mean the wrapped ones. I love Christmas. I mean present-wise. You can wrap presents in a lot of ways. I love Christmas with gallons and gallons of hot chocolate. And then I have another poem, and this is from Mary Jo Salter, who's known nationwide. And this was such a surprise to me. I really enjoyed this. It's called Advent. Wind whistling as it does in winter, and I think nothing of it until it snaps a shutter off her bedroom window, spins it over the roof and down, to crash on the deck and back, like something out of Oz. We look up, stunned, then glad, to be safe and have a story, characters in a fable we only half believe. Look, in my surprise, I somehow split a wall, the last one in the house we're making of gingerbread. We'll have to improvise, prop the two halves forward like an open double door with a tube of icing, cement them to the floor. 5 days until Christmas, and the house cannot be closed. When she peers into the cold interior we've exposed, she half expects to find 3 magi in the manger, a mother and her child. She half expects to read on tablets of gingerbread a line or two of scripture, as she has every morning inside a dated shutter on her Advent calendar. She takes it from the mantel and coaxes one fingertip under the perforation, as if her future hinges on not tearing off the flap, under which a thumbnail picture by Raphael or Giorgione, Hans Memling or David, of apses, niches, archways, cradles a smaller scene of a mother and her child, of the lidded jewel box of Mary's downcast eyes. Flee into Egypt, cries the angel of the Lord to Joseph in a dream, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. While she works to tile the roof with shingled peppermints, I wash my sugared hands and step out to the deck. A page torn from a book, still blank for the two of us, a mother and her child.
Whoa. That's got some amazing imagery in it. Yes.
So I have a couple. The first one is from Cold Springs Elementary from this last spring, 2017. This is by Avery Smith. A poem hides in a snowflake, hoping that someone would catch him so he could be written in a book. A curious poem wonders what it would be like to be written in a poem. A lonely poem hides in my dirty laundry, hoping there's another one lurking around. A bored poem waits and waits for a friend, wondering what everyone else is doing. A worried poem wonders if a kid will step on him and crush him to the ground.
That was really good. And visually it looked really good too, didn't it? Where it said waits and waits on different lines.
Yeah. Hold that up. You can see that.
Yeah, it's so bright. I
It's
don't
too
know.
bright. Never mind. Okay.
You'll have to buy the book. Are the books for sale? Do you raise funds that way?
We don't sell them.
Okay.
I guess we could.
Just a thought.
That's a thought, yeah.
Okay, well, I don't want to interrupt
Okay.
the flow.
The next one is from C.S. Porter, middle school, from spring 2017. This is called Winter by Colton Lords. Winter is the clean, crisp snow on a long, steep hill crowded with children. My friend and I are some of them. Kids yelling, laughing, having fun. We are joking along with the rest as the Christmas spirit is still in the air. As we are ready to sled down the hill, I glance back at my car, take a deep breath, get ready, go. It is slow at first, but I pick up speed, leaving my friend behind. There is snow all around us as I fly down the hill. I approach the bottom quickly and come to a stop. My friend is only halfway down.
Nice. These are pretty remarkable, don't you think? When you think of the age of the kids and the talk, that poetry is dead, painting is dead, whatever. Everything is dead except going on the internet. for Facebook or Instagram or Twitter
No,
or what have you.
no.
It seems they sound very literate to me, and the rhythms
yeah.
are really wonderful.
Yeah, no, they get very excited about it and love writing it. And so they may be writing it, they might write on their phone. Or I remember one of my favorite stories was one of our writers was up at St. Ignatius, and she said she had just taught the haiku. This was this past year, and she came out and she could see one of the little boys, and he was counting out the haiku on it.
Oh, the symbols? Syllables?
The syllables, 575. And she said, wow, what are you doing? And he said, well, I'm counting out the haiku. And she said, well, what are you writing a haiku about? And she said, I'm writing a haiku about how much I hate my winter jacket.
That's great. Well, I want to remind people watching that we've been visiting with members of the Missoula Writing Collaborative. Carolyn is the executive director, and then here's Leland and Rebecca and Patsy. And thank you all for taking the time to visit Missoula Live this is the Christmas show. And I know, Carolyn, you were on it years ago with Fred.
Yes, I remember that.
When we read poem, and Fred read the story that was it was wonderful, and it was for like a different age group where we thought, oh my goodness, we have to put it on after 10, to protect. But it was a great story about the orphan boys.
Birds of Christmas. Yeah, I think I read that.
Yeah. So I don't know how many years we've been reading the holiday poems on Missoula Live, but it's a number of them. But it's a real treat to have people so into writing come to the show. Oh, you're most welcome. So you got to get onto your board meeting, and then Kim and I are going to do some reading. Scott, what are you going to give the people? What are you going to show them next?
Tuba Christmas.
Are you? Okay. So Tuba Christmas is also a holiday tradition here in Missoula, and every year there's this concert that's put on at the Southgate Mall, and most of the tubaneers and they only rehearse that day, and Gary Gillette directs them, and he was here 2 weeks ago telling us, that he was going to gather together 70 of them. There's also something called the sousaphone, and I think the euphemism phone or something like that. Thank you, the euphonium. So you're going to see a clip of that, and when we come back, Kim and I will do a little more holiday reading right after this.
Bill? Also, get used to not talking, right? So afterwards, don't start talking to your buddy going, oh, you must be natural, you dumb. No. Time and place for that. The car ride home, the reception, whatever you do afterwards, that's the time to talk. Don't talk in public. Let me do that. I'll make the fool of myself. You won't have to, okay? But while I'm talking, I do a great job of that. I do. It's part of my role. But don't talk. All right? People are there to enjoy your music, Austin. Don't talk. So if you're talking now, you've gotten used to it, you'll think it'd be okay to talk at the gig. Don't. Damn it, Ludi. Here we go. I know. Here's Aloha Rose. There was 4 of us. Yeah, we're skipping 20. We may come back if we have time and do it for Harvey's sake. We were playing a quartet job downtown, and we stopped, and there was some homeless people right there, and they asked us to play for them. They were on a blanket. It was like 10 degrees below zero, and we stopped, and they asked us to play for them. I went, phew. And this was the tune, and we started playing this tune, and a musician come walking up. Somebody I know who's got an ear and heard us playing came over and realized the tune that we were playing for. It turned from one of those moments like, oh my goodness, to, oh, there's a musician. He went, you're playing that for them? You know, because it's a dangerous position to be in. Come sweet death, oh Lordy. We'll get to there and do it for Harvey's sake. But we don't do it. I did it right downtown on Main Street. Here we go. No, I think it was Broadway. There we go. But if you're going to die in the street, at least it's the tubas. There you go. 2, 3, 4.
We're back. That was nice visit, wasn't
It was so great to hear those kids'
Yeah,
poems. Some
I
of them
agree.
were just amazingly kind of
Right,
complex.
And the rhythms of it, I
Yeah.
thought were
Yeah.
terrific.
One of my favorite groups.
Missoula Writing Collaborative. So we have some poems to read. Do you want
have a
to
few.
start with yours? I'm so sorry Patsy stole your E.E. Cummings list.
That's okay. I have others. Yes, here's one because it just, we just got kind of a snowfall after not having
Yeah,
snow
that's
for a long
right.
time. And it, I don't know about you, but it really raised my spirits kind of to have the
Yeah, I
fluffy
kind
white
of liked
stuff.
it. That
So this poem is called The Snowfall is So Silent, and it's by Miguel de Unamuno.
Okay.
The snowfall is so silent, so slow. Bit by bit, with delicacy, it settles down on the earth and covers over the fields. The silent snow comes down, white and weightless. Snowfall makes no noise, falls as forgetting falls. Flake after flake, it covers the fields gently while frost attacks them with its sudden flashes of white. Covers everything with its pure and silent covering. Not one thing on the ground anywhere escapes it. And wherever it falls, it stays, content and gay, for snow does not slip off as rain does, but it stays and sinks in. The flakes are sky flowers, pale lilies from the clouds that wither on earth. They come down blossoming, but then so quickly they are gone. They bloom only on the peak above the mountains and make the earth feel heavier when they die inside. Snow, delicate snow that falls with such lightness on the head, on the feelings, come and cover over the sadness that lies always in my reason.
Oh. Yeah, I've always liked the snow for that reason, the covering. And
Yes.
then how it gets rid of those boundaries, you know, how everything's so
Yeah.
parceled out.
And the
lawn and the road.
The muffledness.
Yeah,
of
town
everything.
felt it.
Yeah.
I can't remember when our snow came. Was it on the weekend?
It was like Friday night?
It was.
Maybe?
It was Friday night. And it
Yeah.
was really soft and quiet around my house. Well, now, you had read this poem years ago, you think?
Yes, I love that poem.
Toward the Winter Solstice?
Mhm.
I'll try it. I have to say the French part. Santour, when the time
I always
comes.
stumble when I get to it, so you'll do better.
I'll see what I could do. This is by Timothy Steele, called Towards the Winter Solstice. Although the roof is just a story high, it dizzies me a little to look down. I lariat twirl the cord of Christmas lights and cast it to the weeping birch's crown. A dowel into which I've screwed a hook enables me to reach, lift, drape, and twine the cord among the boughs so that the bulbs will accent the tree's elegant design. Friends passing home from work or shopping pause and call up commendations or critiques. I make adjustments. Though a potpourri of Muslims, Christians, Buddhists, Jews, and Sikhs, we are all conscious of this time of year. We all enjoy its colorful displays and keep some festival that mitigates the dwindling warmth and the compass of the days. Some say that LA doesn't suit the Yule, but UPS vans, now like magi, make their present-laden rounds, while fallen leaves are gaily resurrected in their wake. The desert lifts a full moon from the east and issues a dry Santa Ana breeze. And valets at chic restaurants will soon be tending flocks of cars and SUVs. And as the neighborhoods sink into dusk, The fan palms scatter all across the town, standing more calmly prominent, and this place seems like a vast oasis in the Holy Land. This house may be a caravansary, the tree a kind of cordial fountainhead of welcome, looped and decked with necklaces and ceintures of green, yellow, blue, and red. Some wonder if the Star of Bethlehem occurred when Jupiter and Saturn crossed. It's comforting to look up from this roof and feel that, while all changes, nothing's lost. To recollect that in antiquity, the winter solstice fell in Capricorn, and that in the Orion Nebula, from swirling gas, new stars are being born. Nice.
I love that poem. You know, it goes from this very kind of, awkward particular thing of this guy trying to put lights on
and
this
people are
up on
coming
a
by.
roof. And by the end, you're out in galaxies creating new
the stars being born. And it's nice for that in LA.
Yeah.
Because there's 3 versions of the movie A Star is Born, all produced in LA.
I never thought of that.
It has that, well, of course, that sense of star and anointed. So,
Yeah.
And astrology comes into all that, right? Doesn't it?
Yeah.
And of course, that's what leads the Magi to give all the presents. So if you're born under the right star, just saying.
Here's one I wanted to read because it's by a poet named John Haynes, who taught here, I believe, in the early 90s. I knew him a little bit, and he went on. He's mostly known as an Alaskan poet.
I know who you mean.
Yes, but he went on to quite a bit of acclaim. And so this poem is called Fairbanks Under the Solstice. Slowly, without sun, the day sinks toward the close of December. It is minus 60 degrees. Over the sleeping houses, a dense fog rises, smoke from banked fires and the snowy breath of an abyss through which the cold town is perceptibly falling, as if death were a voice made visible with the power of illumination. Now, in the white shadow of those streets, ghostly newsboys make their rounds, delivering to the homes of those who have died of the frost word of the resurrection of silence.
Whoa.
I know.
That's pretty intense.
I don't even think I totally understand it yet, but I'm going to keep reading it to myself.
Wow. It comes to a swooping close. Just when I was kind of focusing in on the imagery, it's like,
word of the resurrection of silence. And silence is capitalized.
Oh
like
my goodness.
A thing.
When it's minus 60, we were just talking about
Yeah.
the snow coating things and making it cooler. See how we're doing on time. We're going to bring Scott out here to talk.
Yeah.
He's going to read his Christmas poem. Now, Scott, you may or may not know, has just come off a long, hard shift of Scrooge the Musical.
Yes, I did know that.
You did know that.
Yes.
So I'm sure he's in the Christmas spirit by now, if nothing else. I mean, he's been through several wash cycles of the Christmas spirit. And this one is by Joseph Brodsky. I know he's a very well-regarded poet. It's interesting. It's called The Star of the Nativity. And I'll just read it, and then we can see whether the last line is very resonant. Family trouble, maybe. So no, the title of it is Star of the Nativity. In the cold season, in a locality accustomed to heat more than to cold, to horizontality more than to a mountain, a child was born in a cave in order to save the world. It blew as only in deserts in winter it blows, athwart. To him, all things seemed enormous. His mother's breast, the steam out of the ox's nostrils, Gaspar, Balthazar, Melchior, the team of Magi, their presents heaped by the door ajar. He was but a dot, and a dot was the star. Keenly, without blinking, through pallid, stray clouds, upon the child in the manger, from far away, from the depths of the universe, from its opposite end, the star was looking into the cave. And that was the Father's stare.
Oh,
Yeah.
that just ended so differently than I
Yeah.
thought it was going to end.
It has sort of an element that seems devotional, right?
Yeah.
Along traditional, Bethlehem lines, and then,
But I mean, I see it. If it's the God the Father.
right, looking down on this
Right.
emissary.
That's the angry star.
I don't know. It's a trippy situation when you think of how this story turns out.
Yes.
That the beginning actually has potential for foreboding. Anyway,
Very true.
I should probably change gears.
I have one funny one.
Oh,
Do we
yeah.
need a very?
I think we
it's very
should lighten
short.
it up.
It's very short and funny.
Yeah.
I hope you think it's funny.
Okay.
It's called A Great Christmas Compendium by Wendy Cope. At Christmas, little children sing and merry bells jingle. The cold winter air makes our hands and faces tingle. And happy families go to church and cheerily they mingle. And the whole business is unbelievably dreadful if you're single.
Oh, no. Aww. I've got one to read from the Missoula Writing Collaborative.
Oh, good.
And this one is coming from the book Poetry, My True Love, which was the 2017 Ronan 5th grade poetry anthology. And this one is called Snow by Aurora. The snow is so soft like moon sand, better than my dogs. I really love snow. It's white like paper, better than my dogs. Snow is so pretty, it's white like paper, it's really awesome. Snow is so pretty, it's white like clouds, it's really awesome. The snow is so soft, like moon sand.
Moon sand.
And I didn't think of that.
Aw.
Have you got another? Or should we bring Scott out for his poem? Does
I
he
have one
another?
more little. I have
Okay.
one more little short one.
Nice.
This is a poet, Robert Hayden, and it was written in 1966, and it's called Those Winter Sundays. Sundays, too, my father got up early and put his clothes on in the blue-black cold. Then, with cracked hands that ached from labor in the weekday weather, made banked fires blaze. No one ever thanked him. I'd wake and hear the cold splintering, breaking. When the rooms were warm, he'd call, and slowly I would rise and dress, fearing the chronic angers of that house. Speaking indifferently to him who had driven out the cold and polished my good shoes as well. What did I know? What did I know of love's austere and lonely offices?
Oh.
I picked pretty sad poems.
That's
this
what you
year.
said. That's kind of Willa Cather-ish.
Yeah, yeah,
the-
it does.
So big. The idea of the devoted parent, but it's all given in such a way that you probably don't think to say thanks.
No, when you're young, you don't.
No. Well, all right, Scott, show the people what you will, and we'll trade me out for you.
I'm Ellie Costello, the director of the MUD Project. We promote tool access and education so that Missoulians can build the homes and neighborhoods that they want. From the MUD team to your home, happy holidays.
For over 100 years, Missoula Public Library has served the people of Missoula, Montana. From all of us to all of you,
Happy holidays from Missoula Public Library.
I'm Logan Smith. And I'm Catherine Auger. And we're Missoula in Motion. We've been promoting sustainable transportation since 1997. and helping all Missoulians discover healthy transportation options to keep our air clean and improve community and individual health.
From our organization to yours, happy holidays.
Okay, we're back, and Joel's on the controls, so we don't know what's going to happen, do we? But Scott Raff has come out onto the couch, and you're going to do something much braver than anything I've done on this show for years. You wrote a poem that you're going to share with us.
As what I did last year, I wrote a poem about basically wearing shorts in the winter. And much to that satirical viewpoint, that's how I wrote this poem as well.
Excellent.
Because just because it's satirical doesn't mean it's not from the heart.
Absolutely.
That's its own poem, too. All right, let's get started. This is called Winter Blues. Winter is upon us, if only for the brief. The only thing we get less of is the sun, which is why most people have grief. Oh, how I wish there was more outdoor fun. Sure, there is skiing and snowboarding alike, but don't get me started on those who surf on the man-made waves that can be seen by bike, who'd want their skin to turn a shade of smurf. But hey, let's not think about the cold, because that's how it wins. So let's be bold in this cold as sin. Mind over matter, maybe that will solve the winter blues chatter. But we must evolve, because it's just going to get colder. There's nothing to do. You could always pretend to be bolder, but you cannot deny winter blue.
I love it. When you said the title was Winter Blue, I thought like the blues, you know. I didn't, I love that.
It is technically the winter blues.
The Smurf color. I like that. While you're here, you are the impresario behind the winter break camp. Do you want to give us a little more detail about that?
While doing my show, I had the idea, because there's always PIR days for teachers to basically get the students out of there so they can get some work done on their own. So PIR days, many other organizations here in town would be like, hey, the kids have the day off. Maybe their parents don't want them around.
But they're working,
They're working, and schools, I don't know. It's a great tool for parents to.
I was a parent. I know what you're saying, Scott.
There's no nice way of saying it, but yeah, it's parent aid.
Yes.
And rather than talk more about promoting it and stuff like that, it's the idea of basically sprouted from basically looking at MissoulaEvents.net. MissoulaEvents.net is what I always refer to when I talk about events that are coming to Missoula for my morning show. And then I always see these kind of like days off camps, and I'll be like, why doesn't MCAT just kind of jump in on that? Because I know a lot of kids just like to come here and just kind of goof around, play with some of our video equipment and maybe make something out of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, over these last years, you've really expanded our programming with youth tremendously. I mean, we've gone from the summer camps to then the Saturday drop-ins.
And it's all baby steps. It's like like some of the kids that actually work here now are kids who were in the summer camps since they were 11.
That's what I love. I mean, I've been on the board for
I don't even
time.
they just stuck around.
I know.
And it's like since you guys stuck around long enough, you might as well get it. Kind of like how I got a job here. I stuck around long enough, and it's always nice to see people who stick around long enough are the ones that you can depend on.
Exactly. I mean, they've just kind of grown up with the organization. They know us backwards and forwards. But I think something that Joel was mentioning to me earlier before we went on air, the number of people who have gone from spending their youth at MCAT and fooling around and playing with Legos and stuff, who then went on to get jobs in the industry. You're an example. There's a lot of.
I love MCAT. MCAT's great. And what I like a lot about these organizations that helps promote kids' creativity is that, of course, you have to understand that there's always that one kid that doesn't want to do it, and you have to accept that. You have to accept that as a move, and maybe years later they'll come to appreciate it. But as of right now, you can't just be like, this is what I learned later on, because it's like, oh, I can do this with this kid, and I can teach them how to do this. But then it's like every year they don't seem to get any better at certain things.
Right.
But then you just never know. It's just very interesting dynamic between a lot of different kids. Like some kids that really enjoy doing it, but don't learn a thing, and there's kids who don't enjoy it but literally learn everything they need to learn from it. It's so interesting.
Yeah.
Kind of like, for instance, like children's theater.
Right.
Like one of the main reasons why I do those kind of shows in the first place is because I really support their children's theater first and foremost, because in a lot of ways it's a good way for kids to come out of their own shell.
Right.
And I learned that a lot of times, including like our Stop Animation Saturdays, is like a lot of the kids who really connect really well with our Saturday drop-ins are kids who have some form of autism. Because it's a lot for them. It's a lot of them. It's so easy for them to kind of stay on a certain task and make a
Stop animation takes a tremendous amount of focus and patience, and so I can imagine that some kids would do really well at that.
And that's like one of the many things we'll try to do for Winter Days. We're not going to promise one thing over another. We're going to provide a safe, fun facility for kids to come and learn and grow in their own way.
So just again very quickly before we see if we can get Joel back on to say Happy Holidays.
Yes.
It's Wednesday, December 27th.
Yep.
Thursday the 28th, Friday the 29th.
Yep.
You can drop off as early as 8.
Yes, 8 a.m. is when I'll be getting here, and I mean, like you
Let Scott have his coffee first, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll start some pre-care around that time. Kids can trickle in and all that stuff because some parents have to go to work by 9.
Right.
And it's a nice way for them to get dropped off. Anywhere between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. and those times are usually associated with them just kind of like hanging around, and I'll use that time to kind of set up chairs and things like that.
Yeah.
Just be like, hey guys, what's going on? Nothing, and then we'll start activities along. Like I already have a bunch of ideas of activities and stuff that we can do. A couple break times. Some VR time as well, because MCAT has some VR, virtual reality.
Right.
For some people who don't know.
And once the kids get a taste of that,
they never forget, and
won't go back.
and they never ask for anything else.
So you have to dole it out sparingly.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, Scott, I just want to thank you for all the great behind-the-scenes work you do on this show and so many other shows with MCAT. And do you have any other holiday thoughts to share with us?
Well, the holiday season's very interesting, and being an uncle for the last couple of years has kind of shifted from being like the baby of the family to being just another Joe in the family, because it's kind of interesting how the dynamic kind of starts shifting towards the younger generation. Like it's such a surprise for sure, and I've grown to appreciate being an uncle more and more every year.
Oh, I bet you're a great uncle.
I'm okay. I get the kid. That's like the slogan for uncles: keep the kids for the fun parts. Took them to the parents
hand
when
them back
hand
when
them back,
it gets troublesome. Right.
It's like it's all the fun of parenting without the parenting.
Exactly. Uncle, that's the job. Joe, do you have one more little PSA so then we can bring you out? That was
$50,000 of in-kind contributions to area nonprofits. On behalf of the staff and board of directors of Missoula Community Access Television, happy holidays, Missoula. For the holiday. Well, we're back,
that
guys.
clip was hysterical. That
It
was
is
so
pretty
great.
funny. I don't really
Nice
know.
bathrobe.
Right? I brought the bathrobe in and I had a pipe, and I was going to be all wise about MCAT's achievements in that year, which might have been 14 or 15 years ago.
Wow.
So I guess we're going to say goodbye to the people.
Yeah.
And thank everyone for supporting Missoula Live. When I put it on the Facebook, it gets a surprising number of views, and I'm very grateful for
I
that.
am too.
Yeah.
I am too. And I have to say, I'm so grateful to be able to take part in Missoula Live, because I have learned more about my great community by sitting on this couch with you, chatting to people, and just the amazing array of great programs that are going on out there that nonprofits are producing every single day.
Isn't that true? I mean, I worry, of course, that we get a Pollyannic view of humanity
It's
from
true,
this side. Because
yeah.
honestly, people out in TV land, we are surrounded by people who are trying to make a positive difference.
Right.
And they put their shoulders into it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like, well, I think I'll just, I mean, they're really trying.
Yeah.
And it's very inspiring. It's very heartening. So, dear viewer, we will see you again next year. Oh, I guess that's not enough to say goodbye. I'll say thank you for watching this edition of Missoula Live. We will see the people on January, I want to say 9th.
Oh,
A
okay.
brand new show. So for MCAT, I'm Joel Baird.
And I'm Kim Anderson.
Thanks for watching.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.